Hi, I'm Cynthia Edwards, and today we're going to talk about the life of the monarch butterfly and the migration of the monarch butterfly. The monarch butterfly is truly an amazing insect, as it's the only butterfly that migrates. And the monarch is a member of the Insecta class, and they're also called a milkweed butterfly. Now, the milkweed butterflies form a class called Danaidae. There are two populations of the monarch. One is the eastern population, and that consists of the butterflies in the eastern and central North America. And then there's the western population, which lives on the west coast. The life cycle of the monarch consists of 4 different steps. First, you have the female laying the egg. Then the egg will turn into a caterpillar. The caterpillar will turn into a pupa, and the pupa will hatch out and turn into an adult monarch butterfly. The mating process that takes place before the production of new monarchs is at noontime, about midday. The monarchs will usually mate, and the male will have a ritual of which he flies over a patch of milkweed looking for a female monarch. And once he finds one, he will kind of dive down and push her into the milkweed, and then he'll keep flying over her, and eventually he will land on her, and they'll go down together in the milkweed in copulation. And while they're in copulation, they'll usually fly possibly up to 75 feet high and 300 yards, in which during this time the female will be suspended from the male's abdomen area, and they will usually land up in the trees, and once they're in the trees connected together like that, they'll stay there for up to an hour. The reproduction process after the female is impregnated is the female will fly around looking for a great spot to lay her eggs, and usually this will take place on milkweed, simply for the fact that once the eggs hatch into caterpillars, they will need something to eat on to nourish themselves. Once the eggs are laying, they will hatch within a week's time into caterpillars, and once they're out, the caterpillars will eat the milkweed that they were actually laid on. And the caterpillars will keep eating until they grow and grow, and they will shed their skin. And they will shed their skin approximately 3 or 4 times, and that will take place over the next 3 to 4 weeks after they have been eating. Once they are full-grown caterpillars, they will attach themselves to something sturdy. It may be a sprig of grass, it may be a tree limb, but they will stay attached there, and once they are attached there, the caterpillar is going to turn into the pupa. And the pupa is actually a molted caterpillar inside of a hard shell, which is called a chrysalis. Once the chrysalis starts cracking and breaking, the adult monarch will emerge. And the monarch can live approximately 8 months, but a lot of them do not make it 8 months because they're either hit by vehicles and killed, or they may be killed by a predator and eaten. Some of the predators of the monarch butterfly are the crab spiders, dragonflies, birds, and even lizards. And the monarchs feed off of mainly plants, and some of those plants are the butterfly bush, the lantana plant, cosmos, zinnias, asters, thistle, and goldenrod. And they're just some of the interesting facts about the monarch butterfly, and we have already learned quite a bit about the monarch. But the monarch, you may not know, is a cold-blooded insect, and they're not capable of living in several different places of the United States during the winter months because some of them are just too cold. Once the weather is cold and the larval food plants are not able to grow and provide them with food, that's when they realize that the plants are dying, and that's when they start the migration process. Now, what is migration? Migration is actually a response to changes in temperature, food, and even daylight. The precise mechanism of navigation is not really known. Scientists say it could be the position of the stars and the moon and the sun. All of this could play an important part in how the migration process actually takes place, how the butterflies know when to leave, where to go to, in order to have what they need to survive through the winter months, to be able to return. Like I said, the monarch is the only migratory butterfly, and there are two populations, as we said, the eastern and the western population, and together they form over 100 million butterflies, which will go through the migration process. Both populations migrate, the eastern and western population, but the flight of the eastern population is exceptional due to the long distance that they fly. The eastern population migrates in the umnal forest down in Mexico, and the western population migrates to Southern California, and some of them even fly as far as Arizona. The western population may not roost like the eastern population does, because in some of the western migratory areas the temperature may not get low enough for the monarch to actually roost. There are several factors that play into the fate of the monarch butterfly. Weather is a natural event. If the monarch gets caught up in an ice storm or extremely cold weather earlier in the winter than what was anticipated, they may not survive. But also a lack of milkweed and deforestation play an important part. We can always plant milkweed, which I was really happy to know that Old Dominion University actually sponsored a milkweed project, planting that for the monarchs earlier this year. And I'm sure you can probably still go back online and read about that if you're interested. And also the Forest for Monarchs group is a group that has been restoring forests since 1977, because the umnal forest in Mexico has been hit by a type of beetle, and also it is cut and used for furniture and a lot of different things, leaving little space for the monarch butterfly to migrate to and roost. The forestation process is being, like I say, revitalized or reforested, but it may not be fast enough or as fast as what the deforestation is taking place. So that's one of the areas that really needs some more work in order for the monarch butterfly to have a place to go to migrate, to continue the life of the monarch. The monarch butterfly is really eye-catching. It's orange and black, and it's very beautiful, and I think it's very important that we learn what we need to do to help preserve this beautiful insect. And so there's several things that we can do. The migration process, like I say, is necessary for the monarchs to survive. It is the only migratory butterfly, and in order for it to survive, we must have milkweed plants, and we must keep the umnal forest reforested in order to keep the monarch alive and healthy. Thank you for listening.